The stars are known until you reach human space. Where maps fail, the fleet moved through the quiet emptiness of space. Stars shown in the distance, each one mapped and known to the United Terran Alliance. Captain Daniel Brooks sat in the bridge chair, his eyes scanning the view screen. He felt calm but alert. This mission was routine, or so everyone believed. Daniel's ship, the Orion Pathfinder, led a small group of survey vessels. They were here to chart a new star cluster near the edge of explored space. The other ships followed in tight formation, their hulls reflecting the distant light. "Captain," said Alice Carter, the navigator, her voice steady, "sensors show stable readings. The cluster is unremarkable. We can begin mapping right away." Daniel nodded. Alice had a quiet confidence that made her crew trust her. Her instincts had helped them avoid danger before, even when the sensors failed. "Good." "Keep the scanners running," Daniel said. "Let's make sure this mission stays simple." Not everyone on board was human. 2 alien delegates traveled with them, studying the fleet and observing humans. Lyra was the more cautious of the two, her long arms moving gracefully as she adjusted a display. She always double-checked every calculation, every reading. "Captain Brooks, according to my calculations, your course will bring you close to a gravitational anomaly. It may be dangerous." Daniel glanced at the readings. "We see it. But it's small and manageable. We have to explore these areas. That is our mission." The other alien, Tov, was quiet and practical. He worked in the engineering section, making sure every system ran efficiently. His voice was low when he spoke. "Humans rely too much on instinct. Sensors are precise. You may be walking into trouble." Daniel smiled slightly. "Sometimes, Tov, instinct can be more precise than any sensor. You'll see." The aliens did not respond. They studied their data carefully, but did not try to argue. They still believed humans were reckless, but they tolerated the humans because the United Terran Alliance demanded cooperation. The journey to the new cluster was long but uneventful at first. Stars passed by in predictable patterns. The aliens recorded everything. Their charts precise. Every light year was measured. Every trajectory logged. They whispered among themselves, questioning why humans did not do the same. "Why do they not make detailed charts?" Lyra asked softly, looking at Alice. "They fly by feeling, not numbers. It is not safe." Alice smiled without looking up. "Sometimes charts only show what you expect to see. Space is bigger than we imagine. Sometimes you have to feel it to find the right path." Lyra frowned but said nothing. Tov, still observing the humans, muttered to himself, "They may survive small tasks, but larger challenges will break them." Daniel knew better. He had seen humans face dangers that no chart could predict. He trusted their instincts because he had seen them work. As they neared the edge of the mapped galaxy, a warning signal reached the fleet. It came from a distant neutral system. The message was simple. Unknown phenomena exist ahead. Systems may shift. Charts will fail. The alien stiffened. Lyra's long fingers tapped the display nervously. "Captain, this confirms my concern. The sector ahead is uncharted and dangerous. You should turn back." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Turn back? No. We explore. That is what we do. If the galaxy were only safe areas, we would never learn anything new." Alice nodded in agreement. "Captain is right. Unknown space is where discoveries are made. We should proceed, but carefully." Lyra did not look convinced. Tov's lips pressed together. "You are risking everything on guesswork." Daniel leaned forward in his chair. "Not guesswork. Observation, adaptation, and trust in the crew. That is what keeps humans alive in space where maps fail." The fleet entered the sector with caution. The stars seemed to stretch and shift in strange ways. Sensors behaved oddly. Readings fluctuated. The aliens grew uneasy. "Captain, these readings are inconsistent," Lyra said. "Nothing matches the charts. We may be in a hazard zone." Alice studied the sensors calmly. "The charts are failing. That does not mean danger is immediate." "Follow my adjustments. I can find the path through. Daniel watched as Alice's hands moved quickly, adjusting coordinates, reading patterns in the stars that no machine could interpret. The human way of navigating was different, almost like a dance. The aliens watched silently, skeptical but unable to stop her. Hours passed. Small anomalies appeared. Gravity pockets, shifts in star positions, sudden burst of energy from distant nebulae. The aliens grew tense. Their hands hovered over controls, ready to override. Daniel kept the humans calm. Trust Alice. She sees things you cannot. Human instinct is our map. Tav shook his head. This is reckless. You will regret it. But Daniel and Alice continued. Slowly, they moved through the strange sector. The anomalies seemed to guide them rather than harm them. Humans responded to subtle cues, tiny changes in light, small gravitational pulls, the hum of engines affected by the environment. The aliens whispered among themselves, alarmed and confused. Lyra admitted, quietly, that she could not understand how humans predicted the changes in the star field. Tove remained skeptical, but even he began to notice that the humans' decisions kept them safe. By the time they reached the far side of the sector, the fleet was intact. No damage had occurred. The aliens looked stunned. Daniel leaned back in his chair, exhaling. We made it. Humans navigate by instinct. Maps are tools, not rules. Never forget that.
Alice gave a small smile.
It is only the beginning. There is more ahead, places where charts will fail completely. Humans will lead the way. Lyra finally spoke.
I did not think it possible.
Humans can survive where calculations fail. Tove remained silent, though his eyes showed a glimmer of respect. As the fleet continued, the stars beyond the sector were unknown. No map had ever charted them. For the humans it was exciting. For the aliens it was terrifying. They had entered the edge of space where maps failed and only human skill could guide them. Daniel watched the stars through the view screen. This is human space, he said softly, where the universe is bigger than charts, bigger than calculations, where only humans can find the way. And with that, the fleet moved forward, into the unknown, where human instinct would be tested, and where the galaxy would begin to see humanity in a way it had never seen before. The stars ahead shimmered, vast and mysterious. The humans felt alive in a way no chart could measure. Ahead lay danger, discovery, and the freedom of space itself. No map could show the paths they would take. Only the humans could see them. Only they could survive. The galaxy waited, unaware that human space had begun, and that maps, no matter how perfect, would fail here. The fleet moved deeper into the uncharted sector. The stars no longer followed predictable patterns. Bright points of light twisted slightly, as if they were moving on their own. Sensors flickered and sometimes went silent. The aliens aboard the ships whispered to each other, clearly uneasy. Alice Carter, the human navigator, studied the displays carefully. She leaned forward, her eyes scanning patterns in the starfield. We are close to a gravitational shift, she said calmly. It is stronger than before, but if we adjust course carefully, we can pass without damage. Lyra's long fingers hovered over her console. Captain, the readings are impossible. No known star cluster should behave like this. You are risking all our lives, Daniel Brooks spoke in a steady voice. We will adjust slowly and carefully. Humans have passed through worse. Trust the crew. Tav muttered under his breath. This is madness. They are flying by feelings, not calculations. Alice ignored him. She moved quickly, adjusting the flight paths. Tiny movements of the ship compensated for the strange gravitational fields. Slowly, the fleet followed her commands, the alien ships trembling with each adjustment. Suddenly, a burst of light appeared in the distance. It was a glowing cloud of gas, shifting unpredictably. Sensors could not penetrate it. Lyra gasped. Captain! The sensors are failing! We cannot see inside. Daniel kept his calm. Humans can navigate it. Follow Alice's instructions. Do not panic. Alice studied the shifting cloud. She noticed patterns in the light, tiny changes that indicated the density of the gas. She began giving instructions in a calm, precise voice. Turn 2 degrees starboard. Increase thruster output slightly. Adjust elevation by 3 clicks. The human crew obeyed, following Alice's directions. The fleet moved like a single organism, bending and twisting through the cloud. Alien engineers tried to understand the movement, but the patterns were too unpredictable. Hours passed. The fleet finally emerged from the glowing cloud. The aliens looked around in amazement. The stars beyond the cloud were brighter, more stable. The crew had survived the first major test of human space. Daniel let out a small sigh. We made it through. That cloud could have destroyed us, but humans can read the space where sensors fail. Lyra nodded slowly. I do not understand it. Your instincts, they guide you in ways I cannot calculate. Tav remained quiet. He was still skeptical, but he had begun to notice a pattern. The humans were alive where alien logic alone would have failed. The fleet continued its journey. As they moved further, the anomalies became more frequent. Gravity pockets appeared without warning. Streams of charged particles shifted unpredictably. The aliens grew tense and some began to argue about the safety of the mission. Daniel spoke to the bridge. Listen, we do not have the luxury of retreat. This is human space. It is uncharted. Humans survive by adapting, not by following charts. Trust your crew. Trust the humans. Alice adjusted the course again. She noticed a small signal repeating in the distance. It was faint, almost imperceptible. Captain, I am picking up a pattern. It is small, but it may guide us through the next hazard. Lyra frowned. Captain, do you want to follow it? It could be a trap. Daniel's eyes narrowed. We take calculated risks. Alice believes this signal can guide us. We follow it. The fleet moved cautiously toward the faint signal. As they approached, they realized it was not random. The signal pulsed in time with gravitational waves that only humans seemed to notice. The ships followed the invisible currents, moving smoothly despite the chaos around them. Alien engineers muttered in frustration. This is impossible. Nothing should move this way. Humans are taking a gamble. Hours turned into days. The fleet moved through twisting star lanes, clouds of gas, and shifting debris fields. Human intuition guided the fleet through areas that alien machines could not chart. During this time, small incidents tested the crew. Minor collisions with asteroid fragments threatened the hulls. Sparks flew in some ships, but humans reacted immediately, repairing systems and adjusting maneuvers before disaster struck. One night, Daniel walked through the human ship checking on the crew. The humans worked quietly, their calm focus giving the aliens a sense of stability they could not explain. Engineers patched hull breaches. Navigators calculated adjustments in real time. Everyone worked together, moving as one. In the observation deck, Alice stood watching the stars. The patterns were alive in a way she could feel. Captain, she said softly, this space is teaching us. Humans can survive here because we can see what the sensors cannot. The galaxy is different here. It responds to us. Daniel nodded. Exactly. Other species follow charts. Humans follow the universe itself. Suddenly, an unexpected gravitational pulse struck the fleet. The ships jolted violently. Some alarms blared. Alien officers shouted orders, trying to make sense of the chaos. Brace for impact, Daniel shouted. Humans moved quickly, adjusting thrusters and stabilizers. Alice read the subtle movements in the stars, guiding the fleet through the dangerous zone. The pulse passed. No ship was destroyed. The aliens were shocked. Lyra whispered, I cannot believe it. You survived. No calculations could have predicted this. Daniel smiled faintly. Humans survive where predictions fail. That is why we explore. The fleet moved on. Beyond the dangerous zone, they discovered a cluster of small hidden stars. No map had ever shown them. The stars were faint, barely visible, but Alice noticed subtle gravitational cues that indicated safe paths between them. Ta finally spoke. Captain, these stars, we could have missed them. The sensors did not detect them. Yet humans found a way through. Daniel looked at him calmly. That is human space. Charts fail here. Instinct succeeds. As they explored the hidden cluster, the aliens began to understand the scale of human potential. Humans were not just lucky. They were adaptable. They could respond to chaos in ways no machine or calculation could match. A few weeks later, the fleet received a faint signal from the edge of the sector. It was a distress call, barely detectable. No known species had sent it. The aliens were ready to ignore it. Lyra said nervously, Captain, we should leave it. We cannot risk it. It is unknown. Dangerous. Daniel's eyes were firm. We investigate. Humans do not turn away from the unknown. That is how we survive. The fleet altered course, moving toward the faint signal. As they approached, they found the source, a small human colony, lost for generations. Its communication systems were weak, its ships few and damaged. Alice's eyes lit up.
They are human. They survived here without support.
They adapted. This is what I was talking about. Human space is different. Only humans can live here. Daniel smiled.
Exactly.
The galaxy underestimates us. They rely on charts and rules. Humans rely on each other, and that is stronger than any map. The aliens watched the colony in awe. It had built itself in the harsh, uncharted space, surviving storms of radiation, unpredictable gravity, and shifting stars. Humans thrived where no one else could. The fleet helped repair the colony. Human crews taught them survival skills that no sensor or chart could explain. Lyra and Tav began to see the humans in a new light. Their logic was different. But it worked. It worked better than anything else. Days passed. The colony's people shared stories of survival, of finding paths where no map existed. They laughed at dangers they had overcome and welcomed the fleet as friends. The aliens listened in silence. Daniel spoke to the bridge. This is the edge of human space. No chart can show all the paths. Only humans can navigate it. That is our gift, and it is why the galaxy should respect us.
Alice nodded. The unknown is not frightening.
It is where humans shine. We adapt. We survive. We explore. The aliens were silent. They had no words. For the first time, they realized that humans were not just another species trying to survive. Humans were unique. Their survival depended not on machines, not on charts, but on instinct, creativity, and cooperation. Daniel looked out at the stars, bright and endless. This is just the beginning. There is more ahead, more danger, more discovery.
And humans will lead the way. The fleet moved deeper into human space.
The stars ahead were unknown, shifting, and alive. The charts of other species ended here. The maps failed. Only humans could see the paths. Only humans could survive. And in the quiet of the observation deck, Alice whispered, "The galaxy thinks it knows space, but it does not know human space." That is our secret. The fleet sailed onward, into chaos, into mystery, and into the beginning of a story the galaxy would never forget. Humans thrived where others could not. Humans led where maps failed, and the stars waited, ready to test them further. The fleet moved deeper into the uncharted sector. The stars were no longer fixed points of light. They shimmered and shifted as if they were alive. The alien delegates aboard the ships whispered in alarm. Sensors failed, charts became useless, and the ships seemed to respond to forces no one could measure. Alice Carter, the human navigator, studied the displays. Her eyes traced patterns invisible to machines. "There is a path through this region," she said. "It moves, but it can be followed." Lyra's long fingers hovered nervously over her console. "Captain Brooks, the readings are inconsistent. Nothing matches any chart." "You cannot predict these movements. You are risking everything." Daniel Brooks stood calmly at the bridge, watching the stars. Humans survive where prediction fails. We adapt.
That is what we do. Tov shook his head.
You are gambling. There is no logic here.
No calculation can save you if this fails. Alice ignored him.
She adjusted the fleet's course using instinct and experience. The ships moved like dancers through a storm. Small pulses of energy pushed the vessels in unexpected directions. Some of the alien ships trembled, their engines straining. Suddenly, the fleet entered a field of glowing asteroids. The rocks moved unpredictably, drifting and spinning in ways sensors could not anticipate. Lyra shouted, "Captain, collision courses!" "We cannot avoid them all." Daniel's voice was firm. "Humans will navigate. Trust Alice."
Alice called out commands quickly. Turn starboard 15 degrees. Reduce thrust by 5%.
Adjust elevation 3 clicks. The human ships responded instantly. Minor collisions occurred, but no vessel was destroyed. Alien ships struggled to follow the same path. Their sensors could not keep up with the moving hazards. Hours passed as the fleet threaded through the asteroid field. The humans relied on observation, instinct, and quick decisions. The aliens could only watch in awe. When the field ended, the fleet emerged into a strange region of gas clouds and faintly glowing stars. The clouds moved slowly but unpredictably, and the ship's sensors failed completely. The aliens grew tense. "Captain, sensors are useless. We cannot detect any safe path," Lyra said. Daniel nodded. "Then we use human skill. Follow Alice's guidance. Humans have survived worse." Alice studied the clouds. Tiny movements, small shifts in light, and subtle changes in energy guided her. She gave steady commands. "Adjust course 2 degrees starboard. Increase thrusters slightly. Move up by 4 clicks. Keep steady." The fleet moved like a single organism, following Alice's instructions. The cloud shifted around them, but no ship was lost. The aliens began to realize that humans had a unique ability. They could read patterns that machines could not. As they continued, the fleet received a faint signal. It was weak, almost imperceptible. The aliens hesitated, uncertain whether to trust it. Alice studied the signal. "This may guide us further. It is faint, but it moves with the stars. Follow it." Daniel nodded. "Set a course. Humans will follow the path." The fleet moved carefully, following the signal through the strange region. Days passed, and the crew faced small hazards, shifting debris, sudden energy pulses, and minor collisions. Each time, humans reacted quickly. Ships adjusted, repairs were made, and the fleet continued. The aliens began to respect the human skill. Lyra whispered to Tove, "They survive where calculations fail. They understand the space in a way we cannot." It is incredible. Tov remained skeptical, but he could not deny the results. Humans were alive, while machines and charts could only fail. One day, the fleet encountered another signal. This time, it was stronger and more organized. It came from a lost human colony. Daniel's eyes lit up. "Another human settlement. We must investigate. This is what makes human space special. Humans survive where others cannot." The fleet altered course, moving toward the colony. As they approached, they saw small ships and structures, hidden among glowing asteroids and drifting gas clouds. The colony had survived for generations without contact from the rest of the galaxy. Alice smiled. They adapted. "They found a way to live here. Humans survive in places no one else can."
The alien delegates were amazed, Lyra said softly. "I cannot believe it."
They built this without guidance, without maps. They thrived. The humans landed near the colony. The lost settlers welcomed them with surprise and relief.
They had lived alone in human space, relying on instincts, experience, and the shifting environment. Daniel spoke to the colony's leader, a man named John Harris. "We come to help and to learn."
Human space is strange and dangerous, but humans can survive it. "Teach us what you know."
John nodded. "You understand?"
Humans are different here. We survive where others cannot. Follow the patterns. Observe the stars. Trust your instincts. The fleet repaired the colony's ships and structures. The humans worked together. showing the settlers new techniques to navigate human space safely. Alice taught them how to read subtle shifts in light and energy. Daniel coordinated repairs and supplies. The aliens observed in silence. They had never seen a species so capable in a region where technology and calculations failed. Lyra admitted quietly,
I underestimated humans.
"They are remarkable." Days passed. The fleet and the colony explored nearby star systems. Humans discovered hidden routes, small planets, and safe zones where no chart could predict. The aliens followed, learning to trust human instincts, even if they could not fully understand them. One evening, Daniel stood on the observation deck of the Orion Pathfinder. The stars shimmered in patterns that machines could not detect. "This is the heart of human space," he said softly to Alice. "Here, maps fail, but humans see. Here, humans survive. Here, we lead."
Alice nodded. The galaxy may think it knows space,
But it does not know human space. That is our gift. That is our strength. Lyra and Tov watched from nearby. The realization settled in. Humans were not only survivors, they were explorers, unlike any other species. They could navigate chaos, find paths where none existed, and thrive where others would fail. The fleet moved on, deeper into human space. The stars ahead were unknown, dangerous and alive. Sensors failed. Charts were useless. Only humans could navigate these paths. Only humans could survive. A sudden warning flashed on the bridge. A massive energy storm was approaching. Alien ships began to panic.
Lyra shouted, "Captain, we cannot survive that!"
"Turn back." Daniel's voice was calm but firm. "Humans will guide us. Follow Alice's instructions. Trust us." Alice studied the storm. Its energy pulses were unpredictable, shifting with the gravity of nearby stars. She adjusted the fleet's course, reading subtle patterns invisible to sensors. "We can pass if we move carefully. Steady. Watch for changes." The storm hit. Lightning-like energy arcs flashed across space. Ships shook violently. Some systems failed. The humans reacted instantly. Thrusters adjusted, shields redirected energy, and repairs were made in real time. The alien delegates were amazed. "We would have been destroyed," Lyra whispered. "You survived." Hours later, the storm passed. The fleet was intact. No ship was lost. Humans had led them through what machines and calculations could not predict. Daniel looked at the stars. "This is why humans thrive. The galaxy can predict many things, but humans adapt. We see patterns that others cannot. We survive where maps fail." Alice nodded. The storm was dangerous, but it proved that humans are unique. Human space is alive. Only humans can navigate it safely. The fleet continued onward. The unknown sector stretched endlessly. Stars moved in ways no chart could describe. Nebulae shifted. Gravity currents twisted and turned. Danger lay ahead at every turn. But humans thrived. They moved with the universe, not against it. They read the subtle changes, trusted their instincts, and worked together. The aliens, once skeptical, began to follow and trust the humans. Lyra admitted quietly, "I have learned more from these humans than I could have in a lifetime of study." Tov remained cautious, but respectful. He had seen enough to know that humans were extraordinary. In this uncharted space, they were not just explorers. They were masters of survival. Daniel spoke to the bridge crew. "This is human space. No map will ever show all the paths. Only humans can see them. Only humans can survive here. Remember that. This is our strength. This is who we are." The fleet sailed onward, into deeper, stranger, and more dangerous space. The stars awaited, full of mysteries. The universe would test the humans, but humans had already proven themselves. In human space, maps failed, predictions failed, machines failed. But humans thrived, humans led. And the galaxy began to see that human space was something entirely new, a place where instinct, courage, and adaptability were the only guides, and the humans were unmatched. The stars shimmered ahead, alive and unpredictable. The fleet moved forward, ready for what lay beyond. Humans would navigate, survive, and discover what no one else could. The fleet moved further into human space. The stars were strange and alive, shifting unpredictably. The charts of other species ended here. Sensors failed. Machines could not predict the hazards. Only humans could see the paths and survive. Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the bridge of the Orion Pathfinder. He looked out at the strange star clusters. "This is where humans show their strength," he said. "Where others fail, we survive. Follow Alice's guidance. Trust your instincts." Alice Carter, the navigator, studied the displays carefully. Patterns in the stars were subtle but clear to her. "There is a path through this region," she said. "It is dangerous, but if we move carefully, the fleet will pass safely." The alien delegates, Lyra and Tov, watched nervously. They had grown to respect the humans, but the unknown ahead was frightening even to them. Suddenly, a warning signal flashed across the bridge. A fleet of hostile alien ships appeared, blocking the path. They were large and heavily armed, confident that humans were trapped. Lyra gasped. "Captain, they outnumber you! You cannot survive this!" Daniel's voice was calm but firm. "Humans survive where others fail. We will show them why." Alice's hands moved quickly over the navigation console. "Captain, the stars can guide us. The currents of space are shifting. We can outmaneuver them if we follow the patterns." The hostile fleet opened fire. Bright beams of energy cut across the void. The human ships jolted, shields flaring as they absorbed the attacks. Alien ships fired accurately at targets, but they could only calculate positions, not predict the moving patterns of human space. "Adjust course 5 degrees to starboard," Alice called. "Increase thrusters, hold steady." The fleet twisted and turned through the shifting stars. The hostile ships tried to follow, but their charts could not keep up with the unpredictable currents. Some of them collided with debris or drifted into gravitational pockets. Daniel watched calmly. Humans survive by adapting. Humans fight by thinking ahead and sensing danger. Follow your instincts. The human ships moved like dancers. Each adjustment was precise, guided by human intuition. Weapons fired, but the humans focused on movement and strategy rather than brute force. They avoided attacks while positioning themselves to strike back. The alien delegates were stunned. Lyra whispered, They are reading the space itself. No calculation could allow this." Tov remained silent, but his eyes showed understanding. Humans were different. Humans could survive where others failed. Alice directed the fleet through a narrow passage between glowing asteroid fields. The hostile ships followed but began to falter. Some were trapped. Others collided with asteroids. Humans moved faster, predicting each shift in the environment. "Fire on their engines!" Daniel commanded. "Disable them but avoid unnecessary destruction." We move with precision, not chaos. Human ships struck at weak points. Small bursts of energy disabled enemy engines. The hostile fleet began to break apart, unable to predict human maneuvers. The battle continued for hours. Human instincts guided them through deadly hazards that charts could never describe. The alien delegates could only watch, unable to comprehend how humans moved with the flow of space. Finally, the last enemy ship attempted a desperate attack. Alice predicted its path, guiding the fleet to intercept. The ship's engines failed, and it drifted into a gravitational pocket, trapped and harmless. Daniel exhaled. "We have survived. We have won. Human space cannot be conquered by numbers alone. Only humans can navigate it." The crew cheered quietly, careful not to damage their ships in the unstable region. Humans had proven that their instincts and teamwork could overcome impossible odds. The aliens approached Daniel. Lyra spoke first. "Captain Brooks, I understand now. Humans are not just another species. You survive where others fail. You think in ways we cannot. You are extraordinary." Tov nodded slowly. I have never seen anything like this. Human space. Humans, they are unique. Daniel looked at them calmly. Human space is dangerous.
It is unpredictable, but humans adapt.
We survive. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us explorers.
Alice smiled. We follow the stars, but we do not rely on charts.
We feel the currents. We see the patterns. That is how we live in places where maps fail. The fleet moved onward. The stars shimmered, shifting, alive. Hidden planets, asteroids, and resources appeared where no chart had ever shown them. Humans discovered safe paths, hidden worlds, and new possibilities. The lost human colonies they had found earlier joined them, bringing small ships and knowledge of the region. Together they formed a strong network, connected not by charts but by instinct, communication, and cooperation. Daniel spoke to the crew. This is the future of human space. We do not follow maps. We create paths where none exist. We survive where others would perish. Remember this. The galaxy underestimates humans, but it will soon learn the truth. The aliens watched quietly. Lyra said softly, I have studied the stars my whole life. I have followed every chart. But I have learned more from humans in these days than I could have imagined. You are extraordinary. Tav finally spoke aloud. The galaxy will never fully understand human space. Only humans can live here. Only humans can navigate it. That is remarkable. The fleet reached a massive nebula. Its colors swirled unpredictably, energy arcs flashing across the void. No sensor could see through it. Alien charts warned against entering. Daniel turned to the bridge crew. This is human space. Humans do not fear the unknown. We explore it. Follow Alice's guidance. We will pass through safely. Alice studied the nebula carefully. There is a path. It is narrow and moves constantly, but we can navigate it. Watch for shifts, adjust quickly, and trust your instincts.
The fleet entered the nebula.
Energy arcs struck the ships, but humans adjusted instantly. Shields flared, engines hummed, and small adjustments kept the fleet safe. The aliens were amazed. No machine could respond this quickly. No chart could predict the changes. Hours later, the fleet emerged. The nebula behind them shimmered with color, dangerous and beautiful. Ahead lay a cluster of small planets and hidden stars, previously unseen. The humans had discovered new territory, completely unmapped. Daniel looked at Alice.
This is why humans thrive. The universe shifts, but humans adapt.
The galaxy relies on charts and sensors. Humans rely on each other, on instinct, and on courage. That is how we survive. Alice smiled.
The galaxy may never understand human space.
But we do. We can see the paths, we can survive the dangers, and we can explore where others cannot.
The alien delegates nodded. Lyra said quietly, I have learned something I never thought I would.
Humans are not reckless. They are perfect for this space. They survive where others cannot. Tav added, the galaxy will remember this. Humans are exceptional. Your space, your instincts, they cannot be matched. Daniel turned to the fleet, prepared to chart new territory. Human space is alive, full of challenges and full of opportunity. Humans will lead here, where maps fail and instincts prevail. The fleet moved forward, deeper into human space. The stars shimmered unpredictably, but the humans moved with confidence. Every hazard, every unknown, every danger was a test. Humans passed every test because they adapted, they observed, and they trusted each other. Hidden planets glowed in the distance. Small colonies awaited discovery. Energy currents shifted constantly, creating paths only humans could follow. Alien ships, even with the best technology, could not keep up. Daniel spoke to the bridge one last time. This is what human space means. The galaxy can predict many things, but humans are unpredictable. We survive where others fail. We explore where charts cannot lead.
This is our gift. This is our power.
The fleet moved on, ready for the challenges ahead. Human space stretched endlessly, dangerous and alive. Only humans could navigate it. Only humans could thrive. The galaxy watched, unable to understand, but aware of the humans' growing power. Alice whispered, "The maps end here, but we see the paths. Human space belongs to humans." The stars themselves respect that. Daniel nodded. Yes, and the universe is only beginning to learn what that means. The fleet sailed forward into the shifting stars, into dangers no one else could face, and into discoveries that no map could predict. Humans had proven themselves. Humans had survived the impossible, and the galaxy would never forget that human space was different, unpredictable, dangerous, and ruled by human instinct, courage, and will. The stars ahead shimmered like living things. Humans moved with them, alive, aware, and ready. Human space was open, vast, and free. Maps failed here. Only humans could navigate. Only humans could survive. And humanity had shown the galaxy exactly why they were unmatched.